All right. Welcome back, everyone. To those of you who have wondered where in the world I have been, I was making content on a pretty regular basis, and it seemed like I just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. I am sorry about that. I mean to upload content consistently, and I do my best. But I've been on 58-hour weeks, so pretty much 10 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and then I work 8 hours on Saturday, and that's been going on for like the past 3.5 months. So I don't always have time to sneak away and record a video in my office, but I have been running PowerPoints, doing my research. What little time I get, I use to gather evidence and gather ammunition. As you can see, I've got 2 other PowerPoints up here that I'm going to be tackling tonight. So I'm going to be knocking out 3 videos in one night. I have the day off tomorrow, and it is 9:30 right now. Wife is in bed, tucked her in, said goodnight. And now I'm here to do some damage on the dog nut culture. So I appreciate everybody who is watching the video. And if anybody was wondering where I went, that's where I was. I was at work. So today's presentation. I don't know if anybody else has covered this. I don't think anybody else has covered this. I Hate Dogs has covered pretty much everything there is. He's really been cranking out the videos, but I ran through his video list and I couldn't find anything on this, so hopefully I don't cover all the same points if he has, but we're going to go ahead and go forward with this. So today's presentation, number 1, that is, out of 3, behavior from dogs that you wouldn't accept from humans. Some of my videos are directed towards the audience. This one is directed towards the dog nuts. So, behavior from dogs that you wouldn't accept from humans. Dog nuts love their dogs and view their dog's behavior as cute and adorable, sweet and loving. But if a human did the things that your dog does, would you consider it sweet and loving and caring? Because I'm not so sure that you would. You hear a lot, we've heard it a million zillion frickin' times, dogs are better than people. And they crank out these stupid memes like this. Whoever said that diamonds are a girl's best friend never owned a dog. Dogs are better than people. So often you'll hear these level 4+ dog nutters. They'll say things like dogs are better than people. Dogs don't judge you for your flaws. Blah, blah, blah. If you can judge a being by their behavior, you want to compare dogs to humans. Be very careful what you say, because 4-legged plague is about to ruin your narrative. Dogs are not better than humans, and it is so easy to prove. The difference between a dog and a person that you have created in your head is that you accept behavior from dogs that you would not accept from humans. And that is the problem right there. Your judgment is flawed. Your brain is not working. You accept behavior from a diseased, resource-sucking mutant that you would not accept from a human. An intelligent being who would know better, because the human has a functioning brain. Behavioral comparisons between dogs and humans. I got a whole bunch of these, and I'm going to completely eradicate the narrative that these dog nuts have put forward, that dogs are better than people. So start, dogs are helpless, brain dead, and they give nothing. Most dog owners would refer to their dog as a companion animal. Anyone who is at least a level 3 dog nut would refer to their mutt as family, which is a huge no-no. But let's break it down. I like to break things down. That's what I do here. What does the word companion mean? According to the dictionary, the word companion comes, it's a two-part word. It comes from the Latin word panis, which is the word for bread. Originally, the word was used to describe someone with whom you would share a meal. The com in companion means with. The second part means panis, the Latin word for bread or food. So it literally means someone to share bread with or share food with. Now, some of the dog nuts, though, that makes perfect sense. They share food with the dog, and the dog spends a lot of time with them. But before you get ahead of yourself, don't get ahead of yourself. A dog in its natural environment doesn't eat dog food pellets. It doesn't eat bread or human food. It eats dead carcasses. It eats meat and bone and tissue. It eats, and a dog that isn't being kept hostage in a human's home, it'll be going through your garbage. It'll eat discarded food waste from your garbage. And it also eats things that are not food, such as feces, vomit, grass. Several dog nuts that I know had a dog, and when they left the house, they had a pack of underwear, briefs, sitting on the counter. Well, the dog was hungry, so it got up on the counter and ate the whole pack of underwear. 3 packs of underwear. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. And so they had surgery to remove the packs of underwear from the dog's body because underwear is indigestible. But then they left the house again another time, and it ate a whole line of carpet, a whole strip of carpet off of their floor in their apartment. And after that, they couldn't afford to save it with the surgery, like the first time, where it ate all of the underwear. The dog relies on you for food, shelter, and water, and everything else. The trade-off is where you give it food and it does nothing in return. So it's really not a trade, it's really a one-way street. The dog cannot provide anything for you that isn't merely perceived by you in your head as love and affection. It's all in your head. The best comparison between a dog and a human would be a mentally handicapped, homeless person that you have literally turned into a slave. That's right, slavery. Now you're going to say, am I really going to make that comparison? You better believe I am. You went and picked up an organism from a shelter. And what are you going to do? You're going to cut off its genitals. You're going to hold it hostage in your home. You're going to force it to interact with you. And if you didn't provide everything for it, clean up its feces, it would be helpless. If someone asked, hey, would you like to adopt a furry, diseased, mentally deranged, homeless person? And that person is going to live in your home for the next 8 to 16 years until they die. And towards the end of its life, it's going to need medication. And it's gonna get all decrepit and diseased, and it's gonna poop on the floor, and you're gonna have to pick it up. It's gonna urinate on the floor. You would all say no. You would say that person needs to be locked up. You would say there's something wrong with that person. You would ask why anyone would voluntarily take on that burden, and that is the behavior that you accept of dogs. They are helpless, mentally deranged, dangerous, and they do nothing for you, period. You cannot share bread with dogs. Another comparison. Dogs violate your personal space. Dogs do not understand the idea of personal space. Dogs cannot understand human intellect, and you cannot communicate with it through language. Language is for humans, and humans only. So naturally, it's going to interact with you the way it might with another worthless mutt. If a dog jumps on you, sniffs your crotch, sniffs your butt, licks all over you, it's putting its body into and all over your body. How's that sound? How'd you like a dog to put its body into your body? Not only can it hurt as a man, if a big dumb dog nails you in the testicles, but for both men and women, it's disgusting for an animal to sniff your genitals. That's disgusting. If a man came up to a woman and shoved a stranger, and this, let me start this over. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's why I use the PowerPoint to keep my thoughts in check, blah, blah, blah. If a man acted this way to a woman, or even if a woman acted this way to a man, this person would more than likely have the cops called on him. If a man jumped all over a woman, shoved his nose into her butt and her crotch, he would be rightfully viewed as a freak, a creep, a pervert, a sicko, fill in the blank. If he just walk up to somebody and just started licking them, that would be disgusting. It would be offensive. It would be insanitary. This is what dogs do to strangers, not just their owners. If guests come into your home, you will allow your worthless mutt to hump them, jump all over them, smell their crotch, lick all over them. If this behavior came from a man or a woman, you would make the determination that this person is mentally ill. Mentally ill. They need to be locked up away from others and or treated with medication and therapy to not do these things that are violating of others' personal space. Behavioral comparisons between dogs and humans. Dogs bark and create noise pollution. This is one of the worst things about dogs, right? The amount of noise they make. Dogs cannot communicate with words. Again, even if their brain was capable of doing so, they have a mouth that isn't shaped the same way that a human's mouth is shaped. We can maneuver our tongues, our teeth, our lips, without even really thinking about it. Like, you didn't have to learn, once you learn how to talk, you just know how to do it. You don't have to think about it. You can just do it. You can maneuver your mouth and teeth and lips to form words and sounds that other humans can understand. You can think something, you could say a word, and other people can understand what you're thinking. Dogs can't do that. They can only bark and yowl and growl and make these disgusting noises, and they don't understand language, which is why food is generally how you program a dog to do what you want it to do. It is claimed that dogs bark. If you look it up on Google, they bark when they're greeting and playing, when they're attention seeking, when they have separation anxiety. They have compulsive barking. All that nonsense is just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. All that means is that a dog will bark for any reason, for no reason, nonstop, literally all day, and you have no way of knowing which one of these reasons it is barking about. If a person was outside their home yelling and screaming all day, someone would call the police and say, hey, this person is just outside their house with their hands in the air, screaming and making all these noises. If you had a person in your house who just yelled and made noises and grunted over and over and over, every time someone pulled up in the driveway or walked by on the bike path, you would be sick of it. You might not want that person in your home, and you have no way of communicating anything detailed with them. Now, I understand that there are some people who have mental disorders who they do these things, but that's not normal human behavior. The human brain doesn't normally work that way. So there are some people who have mental conditions that they can't help, or they need medication for treatment. Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody if they have somebody that they know who has a disability. I'm not comparing them for 1 second to dogs, but the human brain wouldn't normally work this way. You don't normally have people who stand out in their yard and just scream all day. But that's exactly what dogs do. You accept this behavior from dogs, you wouldn't accept it from a normal human being. This is Campylobacter, I want to say. Actually, that might be Capnocytophaga in the picture. This is one thing between, I'm tripping all over my words here. Let's back up. Behavioral comparisons between dogs and humans. Dogs spread diseases. In today's day and time, living of a pandemic, where we've got lockdowns and supplier shortages because no one can leave the house. In this day and time, no one wants to get too close and unknowingly have someone else give them a disease, right? You got to keep your germs to yourself. You got to wear a mask. You got to stay 6 feet away. Not only that, but if you don't get injected with a vaccine, you're going to get fired from the place you work for no other reason other than you won't inject this drug into your body. According to the CDC website, right? And the CDC, again, is not a dog-hating organization. They don't conspire to raise the number of negativity and complaints about dogs. This is from their website. Germs from dogs can cause a variety of illnesses, from minor skin infections to serious illnesses. According to the Journal of Medicine and Life, viral infections such as rabies, norovirus, and bacterial infections including Pasteurella, Salmonella, Brucella, Yersinia enterococcolytica, some of these are hard to pronounce, Campylobacter, Capnocytophaga, Bordetella, Bronchoseptica, Coxella burnetii, all those other ones, staph infection, those are the most common viral and bacterial zoonotic infections transmitted to humans by dogs. These diseases can have a serious negative impact on your life, right? This is somebody who's about to have, like, you look here, their limb is rotting from this bacterial infection. They're going to have their limb cut off. This disease can have a serious negative impact on your life and the life of others around you. If someone who you knew more than likely had one of these diseases, they wanted to come into your home and they wanted to kiss you and lick you and violate your personal space, you would stop what you're doing and try to stop them from entering your place of living. You wouldn't want to let them come into your home. However, you as a dog nut accept the risk for a creature that you can't even communicate with. Dogs defecate and urinate wherever they are. In the state of California, on any given night, according to the governor's office, there are 170,000 homeless people. In 2019, there were 28,135 complaints filed in regard to human and animal feces, so animal feces as well, being, there were 28,135 complaints filed in regard to human and animal feces being all over the place. San Francisco supervisor Matt Haney had quoted people as saying it was awful and it's unacceptable. People walk outside and there's poop smeared all over the sidewalk. It's completely unhealthy. Now, according to the law, it is unlawful for any person to intentionally urinate or defecate in a public place other than a washroom or toilet room, where such act could be observed by any member of the public. So they don't want you to poop or pee in a public area or in front of any other person. But every year, 10 million tons of dog feces gets washed into the water system every year. That's 10 million tons of disease-containing dog waste that doesn't get treated. And it's legal for you to allow your mutt to just drop it anywhere it pleases and poop. People complain when homeless junkies are doing it, but it's illegal for humans to go outside, but for dogs it's okay and it's natural and it's normal. You can accept this disgusting behavior from dogs, but not from humans. And in reality, human waste contains bacteria, gut bacteria that are not as harmful as dog feces. The feces of dogs contains these diseases that are not native to humans. It contains parasites and all these things, so it's actually even worse for a dog to take a crap outside than it is for a junkie to take one outside. Just a thought. Another comparison, dogs attack for no reason. Dog attacks are often referred to by the news and the dog nutters as rare, right? You've heard, well, dog attacks are rare, blah, 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 blah. The fact of the matter is that statement could not be further from the truth. There are around 4.5 to 5 million dog attacks every year. The number is more than likely higher since not all dog attacks are reported. Now in 16 states, we got a lot of work to do. In 16 states, there is a one-bite rule. The owner is liable if he or she knew or should have known that the animal might act in a dangerous or harmful way. The name of this theory comes from the idea that an animal gets one free bite. After that, the owner is aware of and responsible for the animal's vicious propensities. So, you could own a big frickin' pit bull with a big old, 250-pound bite force, and you could make the excuse that you didn't know the dog was dangerous. You didn't know the dog was dangerous. I'm sorry, that's really not funny, but after the dog bites, now we know it's dangerous because it bit somebody. Yeah, not just because it could bite somebody, but now that because it did bite somebody. 16 states have a one-bite law. Now, a lot of people will agree with this. They will immediately defend the dog. They have it preconceived in their head. It was the fault of the victim. You made the dog mad, blah, 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 and the dog decided to bite you. Now, I'm going to put myself. Picture me standing in front of you. I'm 6'3". I'm 370 pounds. I've been working out since I was a teenager. I'm standing in front of you. If I personally stabbed you and I claimed in court that I had a moment of mental unclarity because you scared me, you annoyed me, you stressed me out, I thought you were trying to take my money, you were trying to take my food, you stood up too fast and you scared me, would I be, and I decided to frickin' thrash you. I decided to bash your head into the concrete. I decided to inflict damage to your body that would cause scars and irreversible damage. If I did that, would I be released back into freedom? Oh, well, it's your first offense, so we're going to let you go. No. I would be held accountable for the crime of acting with deadly force when a reasonable person would not have feared for their life. Like you could beat somebody if you're defending yourself. But when it goes to court, the jury gets asked the question, would a reasonable person have feared for their life? Is this self-defense? The answer would be no. You accept this behavior from dogs and you don't think twice about it. Don't euthanize a violent dog. Rehome it. If it attacks someone, it's still an innocent animal. It didn't know any better. The lack of intelligence to understand the difference between right and wrong is just another reason why dogs do not belong in the home. And you can quote me on that if you want. If you are now I'm going to get political now. People don't like it when, oh, you know, I don't want to get political. I'm getting political right here and now. If you're a Republican and you own a dog, you're a hypocrite. A lot of Republicans, if you asked them, what's one of the biggest things that they have a problem with is government spending and waste, right? Republicans are usually against big government. And they'll lobby against, oh, that's wasteful spending, that's excessive spending. You know, I mean, in certain areas, you know, everybody has something that they want to throw money at. But giving money to other countries for whatever purpose is, oh, that's wrong. Not a single tax dollar of U.S. money should go to someone who didn't bust their butt to get it. We shouldn't give money to freeloaders or welfare recipients who don't deserve it because they sit on their butt all day. Giving things in general to people who don't deserve it, usually money, but time and effort also count, since time and work equals money. Now, according to AmericanPetProducts.org, okay, brace yourself. In 2020, $103.6 billion was spent on our pets in the U.S. For 2021, it's estimated that $109 billion will be spent on our pets in the U.S. Out of that money, $69 billion was spent on our four-legged friends. Oh, wait, no, on our four-legged plague that we are dealing with. Dogs. So if you have a problem giving money to people who don't deserve it, you better close your mouth if you're a Republican and you own a dog, because you are giving money directly to the pockets of pet industries that put their products into the disgusting mouth of dogs. Your dog is your own welfare contribution. Except not only do you give this welfare recipient money, you feed them, you shelter them, you pick up their poop, you pick up their feces. You literally have a drain on your bank account living in your home. You don't like the idea that the government is going to take your money and give it to freeloaders, which nobody wants their money taken away, but if it's going to be given to freeloaders, then that's a no-no. Yet you have one in your own home. If you are a Republican and you own a dog, don't talk to me about your ideals, because you have a money-draining, worthless mutant in your home. On the flip side, if you're a Democrat and you own a dog, the Democratic Party emphasizes sticking up for the rights of the vulnerable, minorities, the oppressed, anyone who might be considered weaker or oppressed or vulnerable. And there are none more vulnerable, however, than children. We can all agree that, you know, children don't have control over their own situations. They don't get to, you know, a kid, if they don't like the situation they're in, they can't just get in a car and drive away. They don't have that option. They're completely under the physical and mental control of their guardian or whoever it is that takes care of them. When a school shooting takes place, now I'm treading into hot water, but you know what? We're already in hot water. When a school shooting takes place, Democrats will jump on the horn and use the shooting as an opportunity as to why we need gun control. They'll say things like, if we could save just one child's life by pushing such and such gun control bill, we need to do it. We need to take the guns away from these people. We can't just sit here and do nothing. If you, as a Democrat, care about saving children, you are a hypocrite if you own a dog, especially a large demon dog such as a pit bull or Rottweiler. How common are bites in children? Right, we're talking about children. It's not just the fact that children are being harmed by guns or by knives or whatever. We're talking about how many children are being hurt, period. The Humane Society, here we go, Humane Society. You know, the Arms of the Angels, advertisement. They show all these sad, poor dogs and cats in the arms of the angels. You know that song? You've probably seen that song, that advertisement. 51% of dog bite victims are children. The American Veterinary Medical Association states that the rate of dog bites for children is highest between the ages 5 and 9. So that means if 5 million people get attacked by dogs every year, and 51% of those are children, around 2.55 million children are attacked by dogs every year. Many of these children are left disfigured for the rest of their lives. But now, instead of the child being the vulnerable one, the protected one, it's the dog who committed the crime. You're going to protect the dog instead of the kid. You're not okay with children being ripped apart when it comes to gun violence, but when it comes to dog mauling and killing children, you keep your mouth closed. It had to be something that the child did. It couldn't have been the dog's fault. Dogs don't just attack for no reason. You stood up too fast. You startled it. You were washing your clothes. Dogs don't like that. You were standing in your front yard. Dogs are territorial, and you shouldn't stand in your front yard where the dog could get you. You wouldn't accept this behavior from a person, but it's fine from a dog. If you're a Democrat and you own a dog, don't talk to me about kids getting harmed. You have a killing machine, natural predator in your home. And most of those attacks we talked about are by the family dog. Now, with all of that, now that I have completely dismantled the idea that anything dogs can do for you can possibly be loving, sweet, caring, anything other than begging for friggin' food, and I've shot down the fact that dog attacks are always for a reason and rare, I have compared what dogs do on a scale compared to other things. You, as a Democrat or Republican, I'm shooting at both sides. Most people will go to one side or the other. I'm bringing you both forward. I'm bringing you both to your knees. Now that I've compared compared the dog attacks to other things that Democrats and Republicans view as unacceptable, like freeloading or child shootings, and yes, the comparison holds up. If you don't believe me, type dog attack victim into Google image search. I have elaborated the fact that dogs release I have also elaborated the fact that dogs release 10 million tons of toxic feces into the water system every year. Now that I've elaborated all that, why do you still want that stupid thing? There is no circumstance, any reason that you should own a dog. They are menaces. They demonstrate behaviors of a mentally damaged creature. They eat absurd amounts of food and do insane amounts of property damage. They attack people. They cause infections that can threaten your life. They attack innocent children. They bark nonstop and violate your personal space. They give nothing. They're brain dead, helpless compared to other natural animals. And last but not least, they are disgusting. I hate your dog. We hate your dog. There is no reason for you to own a dog, period. Stop accepting behavior from dogs that you wouldn't accept from a human member of your family. Stop perpetuating dog ownership and dog worship and do the right thing by going and getting that worthless, miserable mutant out of your home and out of this world by sticking that needle where it counts and euthanizing it. And for all my audience that is supporting us, remember, love the sinner, hate the dog.